Welcome to Devotions from Israel, a 5-minute word of encouragement. Today's devotion is from 1 Kings chapter 1. God calls each of us with a specific purpose. That was certainly the case for King Solomon, one of the sons of David who would become king and initiated into kingship at a place called the Gihon Spring. Now, David had a palace within the city of David. The city of David was defined by the Kidron Valley to the east and the middle, or the little valley, to the west. Later on, Josephus would call this valley the Tyropoeon Valley, or the Cheesemaker's Valley. Now, the size of the city of David was quite small, even when David captured it from the Jebusites. But here at the end of David's life, Solomon is initiated into kingship at the Gihon Spring. The Gihon Spring is located at the bottom of the eastern slope of the city of David, about halfway down this 350-yard long city. Well, Adonijah, who was the fourth son of David, born to Haggith, also wanted to be king. So at the spring called En Rogel, Adonijah wanted to become anointed and serve as the king succeeding David. This is what we read in 1 Kings chapter 1. Now Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith, put himself forward and said, "I will be king." So he got chariots and horses ready with 50 men to run ahead of him. His father had never rebuked him by asking, "Why do you behave as you do?" He was also very handsome and was born next to Absalom. Adonijah conferred with Joab, one of David's generals, by the way, and also the priest, who also gave him support. But Zadok, the priest, Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, Nathan, the prophet, Shammai and Ray, and David's special guard did not join Adonijah. Adonijah then sacrificed sheep, cattle, and the fattened calves at the stone of Zohelet near En Rogel, the spring that's located to the south of the city of David, deep within the Kidron Valley. Then Nathan asked Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, "Have you not heard that Adonijah has become king? Now then, let me advise you how you can save your own life and the life of your son Solomon. Go in to King David and say to him, 'My lord the king, did you not swear to me, your servant, surely Solomon your son shall be king after me, and he will sit on my throne? Why then has Adonijah become king? While you are still there talking to the king, I will come in and add my word to what you have said.'" So Bathsheba went in to see the aged king in his room. As we continue in 1 Kings chapter 1, David then said, "Call in Bathsheba." And she came into the king's presence and stood before him. The king then took an oath, "As surely as the Lord lives, who has delivered me out of every trouble, I will surely carry out this very day what I swore to you by the Lord, the God of Israel. Solomon your son shall be the king after me, and he will sit on my throne in my place." Then Bathsheba bowed down with her face to the ground, prostrating herself before the king, and said, "May my lord, King David, live forever." "Then take your lord's servants with you, and have Solomon my son mount my own mule, and take him down to Gihon. This is the spring, about halfway down the city of David on the eastern side of the city. Blow the trumpet and shout, 'Long live King Solomon!' Then you are to go up with him, and he is to come and sit on my throne and reign in my place. I have appointed him ruler over Israel and Judah." So this is what happens. And of course, as Adonijah learns that Solomon was sworn into and initiated into kingship, Adonijah now was fearful for his life. So he comes and runs and holds on to the horns of the altar, a place of potential asylum. And Solomon simply grants him mercy and says, "Go home." I think at this point Solomon realized that he was called to be the king. He was called with a purpose. Now, we may not be called to be a king or a president or a ruler of any kind, but God calls us with a specific purpose. And God invites us to fulfill this purpose by listening to His guidance, obeying His word, and depending and trusting in Him to fulfill that purpose in life. What is your purpose that God wants you to fulfill? What has God called you to accomplish for Him? We are all kingly citizens of King Jesus as He has called us to His kingdom. And we are to allow the reign and rule of God in our lives. So as kingdom citizens, we are invited to follow Him and fulfill our purpose that God has given to us. May you find encouragement in this word today. Find your purpose to which God has called you, and be encouraged until next time. Shalom.